Yeah, it's back. I guess Jake Paul brought it back. I'm sorry, guys. It is what it is. However it got back, it came back, and Errol Spence, Danny Garcia out of Philly going into the fight was one of probably the most underrated fights of the year because of the stipulations. It was the first comeback fight for Errol Spence after his traumatic car accident. And then Danny Garcia coming off a win, but the former defeat of Keith Thurman, trying to get back in the ball game, a former champion, going into it with Errol Spence to kind of garner himself a new place and possibly climb back up to the top of the welterweight division. In the fight yesterday is probably one of the most, if you're a boxer, if you've ever boxed at all, probably one of the better fights I've ever seen. Great technicalities. Everyone stayed in pocket. There was nothing too crazy or outlandish done, which is typical of a real boxing match with two great fighters. Everyone wants a knockout all the time. Guess what? That's not boxing. If that's what you're looking for, yes, MMA is a better vehicle for that. That's why I watch MMA. It's 5 rounds, and the way they fight, the unknowns that can come into play, there's a good chance somebody's going to get knocked out or choked out, which is fun in the MMA game. Now, with boxing, which is a more technical chess playing type game, the technicalities of what I saw from Errol Spence, I think he's going to be fully recovered. If he was at 90% tonight, it's pretty scary what he will be at 100%. And it is credible after that accident to come back like that from a physical standpoint. Mentally, he's still there. A lot of people were saying he was off by his voice. I guess I'm not seeing it. I'm not feeling it at this point, you know. So Errol Spence comes in again with an opportunity to cement himself as the top welterweight and say there was nothing that's tarnishing my ability in the boxing game after the accident. He did that last night for me. Shouts out to Errol. Now with Danny Garcia, a champion, a guy that had some activity, shouldn't have any ring rust. Not bad. I mean, great performance. I don't know if Danny thinks he didn't do himself any favors. There was talk of he didn't throw his hands enough. I don't think he had the opportunity to. Errol Spence's pocket defense is getting there for me. I'm starting to see what it is. Okay, he's not going to be the type to do the head movement a la a Mayweather, or Pernell Whitaker. That's not his style, but he gets the job done with blocking with his elbows and the gloves, high to the face. It's tough to get inside of Errol Spence. I'm starting to notice that this guy has a great defense. Now, with Danny Garcia, a guy that doesn't move as much as, let's say, a Keith Thurman, I still saw a lot more than I've seen from him in previous fights. He's continuing to grow, and he still has a lot of power. I know Errol said he didn't feel the power. I'm sorry, Errol. Those swings, those right hands he was swinging, if he has the same power in the left hook, that's his calling card. Basically his finishing move is that left hook, Danny Garcia. It looked like he had the same amount of power on the right. It just never touched you. It never touched you because of your defense. But if one of those would have connected fully, no doubt about it, Errol, I don't care who you are, it is what it is. You would have been in trouble. That said, Danny didn't utilize the jab enough, in my opinion. He didn't have the reach advantage. Errol was killing it with the jab, hands up. Another big factor for Errol was the fact that his body work continues to be his calling card. He is a strict body killer. Luckily, he fought a guy that came in shape and was able to continue with his output, even with the body pain that Mr. Errol Spence basically puts on a lot of his fights. Okay, now the other factors that played a significant role for me, it was the fact that Danny Garcia has a pretty good chin. I mean, the guy can take punishment. The body punishment that I saw from Errol was a little bit scary because I said, man, he is going in. Danny's going to have spitting out blood tomorrow. But again, he's a tough competitor. And I thought for both of these guys, I wouldn't mind seeing a rematch either on this fight. I think there's a lot of potential with these two. Maybe two of the top contenders in the welterweight. Well, they are. And now you add on a Pacquiao conversation. That's what I wanted to end this with. In my opinion, Pacquiao would have trouble with either of these fighters. Everyone keeps talking about Mr. Errol Spence. I'm telling you, Pacquiao would have trouble with Danny Garcia. And if I am Manny Pacquiao, even though 42 years of age, you know, he's a guy that doesn't necessarily want to get into too many more fights, right? The fight has to be right. It has to be the right contender. I would definitely say that Danny Garcia would take Manny Pacquiao. I know there's a lot of comments stating that that would not be the case, but I'm telling you, there's an age thing that matters. I know Keith Thurman definitely showed out that, hey, there's still some left in the tank for Mr. Manny Pacquiao. I think it was a one-hit wonder, and if he defies logic and is able to beat two more guys at the top of the welterweight division, there's no doubt for me he is one of the top boxers in history because of what he's been able to come back through. Even though he has a lot of losses with Margarita, there's several guys that Mr. Manny Pacquiao has lost to, and I understand that. However, to come from the weight divisions that he's come to and move up the way he has is something special. And that's really intriguing for me to see that a guy who's been through so much, I cannot tell the ill effects of any brain damage, is able to come back and still cement himself in the welterweight division as a top competitor. So at the end of the day, from my thoughts and my feelings, Errol Spence is too much for Manny Pacquiao. He's too much. You can neg me if I want. I know the Filipino fans have a great love for Mr. Manny Pacquiao. You understand that there's such passion. He is their everything. I mean, any comment you make about Manny Pacquiao, the Filipino fans will literally kill you. I mean, it's just that real. We're so blessed in America. We just got too many stars. We got too much, man. We eat too much. We got, you go to football, you got somebody, you got baseball, you got basketball, you got hockey, MMA. We've never been stalemated with one guy to hold the banner of the country, and that is Manny Pacquiao. It's going to be a shame when he retires what happens to the Filipino crew with regards to who they're going to go to next. That said, I think Errol's too much. I think Danny's too much as well. I know Danny lost to Keith, but I don't think Keith was on his A game. I don't think that was the Keith that we were used to. And I know if Keith comes back and fights Pacquiao, it's going to be a different story. All four sports, I'm going to sign off. Great fight. Errol is back, no doubt. That should have been the whole video, but it is what it is. He's the guy to beat. He's the next champion. All four sports, I'm signing off. He is a champion. We'll probably continue to be champion. Only piece we need to talk about is Bud Crawford. That's probably the scariest guy in the division and one that everyone needs to worry about. Mike B, I'm off. Peace.